10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
This is Duck Insider.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Omarui for three. Yes! Oh, and a steal and slam for Williams. Duarte to the basket. The slam. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champs.
Holy three. Goal! Volleyball. Left wing. Pow. Yeah, boom, boom. Regular season champions, and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Huge game on Sunday. The Ducks are looking for their fourth Pac-12 championship in the last 6 years, and it's going to be so much fun. 4:30 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network, 5 o'clock tip-off on Fox Sports 1. The Ducks will head to Corvallis. It is the most contested rivalry in the history of college basketball. Wild, isn't it? Wild to think about that. Ducks and Beavers will meet on the hardwood for that 5 o'clock tip-off on Fox Sports 1. And if the Ducks take home the victory, they will take home the Pac-12 title in this truly odd, crazy, wild, unprecedented, messed up year plus that we are now living in. I was thinking about this today, that the women's basketball Pac-12 tournament is going on right now. We're going to talk about that on the women's side in just a moment. The men's basketball Pac-12 tournament starts in a week. Next Thursday will be a year, not to the date, but to the event date window, if you will. It'll be 1 year since the second round of the Pac-12 tournament was called off across the country. Everything paused, and that's next week. If you had told me last week, or last year I should say, that would be a thing, don't know what I would have said. Don't know what I would have said. But here we are. And the Ducks have a chance to win yet another regular season title in the Pac-12. All right, we're going to hear from Coach Altman. He talked to the media just a little while ago after that big win over UCLA. Also, where's my man Tobiah? I win, by the way. Yeah, that's right. Rob Mosley, if you're watching, you owe me that Mountain Dew, buddy. The Walton count for how many times in the UCLA game he said Eugene from Eugene or something like that. Well over 6.5. Well over. In fact, there were even some variations, and we didn't even have to get into the nitty-gritty on if we would count the variations, like Eugene squared, because... Thanks, Bill. Oh, you on, buddy? Men's basketball, though, heading to Corvallis. Tobias says, yes, you do, good sir. Well done, well done. Thank you. I'll take it. We're going to hear from Dana Altman. Women's basketball now turning their attention toward the NCAA tournament. A game that didn't go Oregon's way in the end, but, man, what a comeback in the fourth quarter for Oregon women's basketball. They're still finding their rhythm. I got some thoughts on that coming up. Going to hear from Kelly Graves and Taylor Mikesell. Track and field and cross-country honors coming out, and the cross-country championships are going on now. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, things are wrapping up. And then softball. We thought we were going to have games today. Instead, we've got games coming up on Saturday and Sunday. More on that as the schedule's been pushed back a bit, hearing from Melissa Lombardi, Brooke Yanez, Maya Felder, ahead of the opener for Oregon softball, home opener that is, at Jane Sanders Stadium. So the Ducks were down, on men's basketball side of things, the Ducks were down 56-47 at the 13:28 mark against UCLA. And I couldn't have been the only one that was kind of going, uh-oh. Jules Bernard had just scored his 23rd point at the 13:28 mark, which led to a timeout. he was killing the Ducks. 23 points was a career high. Well, Oregon closed on a 35-18 run. And Jules Bernard did not score again in the game. Defense locked in, and I think Chandler Lawson deserves a lot of credit, and he's going to be a key for the Ducks down the stretch. We know that the big rotation in crunch time is going to be Richardson, Omarui, Williams, Duarte, and Figueroa. But how many minutes can Amari Hardy and Chandler Lawson and Frank Kepnong and maybe Jalen Terry give you down the stretch? Got to stay fresh. Chandler Lawson came in, was at the top of Oregon's press, and totally threw off UCLA's game. Credit to Chandler Lawson. Big reason why the Ducks closed on that 35-18 run. I think he's the key against Oregon State. More on that coming up. Chris Duarte hit clutch shots again, playing like the Pac-12 Player of the Year. And in my humble opinion, with the way Evan Mobley has played the last couple weeks, and the way USC as a team has closed out the season, we'll talk about Andy Enfield's comments in a moment, Chris Duarte, if the Ducks win on Sunday, should be the Pac-12 Player of the Year. He should be the Pac-12 Player of the Year. He has been so good lately. And so have Eugene Omarui and LJ Figueroa. In fact, LJ Figueroa might be the biggest difference in Oregon's offense. Here's why. First 12 games of the season, LJ Figueroa was 11 of 47 from 3. That's just 23%. This is a guy who was shooting well over 30% in his time at St. John's. In the last 9 games, LJ Figueroa is now shooting 24 of 43. That is 56% from 3. So 23% in your first 12, 56% in your last 9. LJ Figueroa is starting to hit that outside shot. If the Ducks can rebound a little bit better down the stretch, and if they can play solid D, I think the offense is there. I think we're seeing that right now. One more win. One more, and the Ducks will be Pac-12 champs. So Andy Enfield had some comments about how he thought that Oregon, he said something basically along the lines of, well, it's unfortunate, that Oregon is going to be able to get UCLA at home, and they're not going to have to play at UCLA. Well, yeah, USC lost 1 of 3, or went 1-3 in the last 2 weeks. I mean, coach. And in the words of Dana Altman, he said this post-game after the win over UCLA, nobody felt sorry for the Ducks when they were without Chris Duarte, Will Richardson throughout the course of the season. Nobody felt sorry for Chris Duarte. Nobody felt sorry for LJ Figueroa. Nobody felt sorry for the Ducks when they didn't have him against Oregon State. Nobody felt sorry for the Ducks when Chris Duarte hurt his ankle, didn't play in the second half against Washington State. Oregon hadn't practiced before they played Washington State, and then they lost that game. It's a weird year. What do you want? What are you going to do? I don't know. Yeah, whatever. And then I know Mick Cronin was like, I don't want to have to fly up to Oregon. This will be the 4th time this game's been on the schedule. Well, why is it Oregon's fault that it was an official who tested positive in the game on December 23rd? I don't get it. I just don't. Nobody felt sorry for the Ducks at the time. Nobody should feel sorry for USC or UCLA right now. UCLA lost the game. Would the Ducks have liked to go to UCLA and play that game? Absolutely. They would have liked to also play Arizona State at home. They didn't get that opportunity either. I don't understand this. We all knew what we were getting into. This is the world that we're in right now. So I'll get off my soapbox now and take care of business, Ducks. And at the end of the day, you know what everyone's going to remember when we look back 10 years from now and someone looks at the Wikipedia page and goes, who won Pac-12 championships that year? They're just going to read that Oregon did if they take care of business. So you know what? Take care of business. If the Ducks can take care of business, they're going to do just fine. Thanks again to Tobiah for making or holding Bill Walton's count for us on how many times he said Eugene from Eugene. So now men's basketball in Corvallis. Last time didn't go well for the Ducks. Coming off their first COVID pause. They did not have Chris Duarte. They did not have LJ Figueroa. And you know what? You know what Dana Altman said after that game? He's like, yeah, it is what it is. We didn't play well enough to win the game. I mean, Scott Phillips just said it in my ear. That's a Hall of Famer. Like, that's what a Hall of Fame coach would say. And Dana Altman should be a Hall of Famer. Just, you didn't play well enough to win the game. Your availability of players is going to be, that's a thing that everybody's had to deal with this year. So if the Ducks can get it done, they've weathered the storm and had the talent to weather the storm that is this odd season. And, man, I'm looking forward to it on Sunday. Ducks and Beavers, 5 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, and a 4:30 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. I'll have the call. Remember, Will Richardson hadn't made his season debut yet, and I think we all kind of knew this day was coming when Will Richardson would really start to hit his stride. And he's hit it. He took over the game against UCLA down the stretch. Maybe didn't blow you out of the water on the stat sheet, but he looked like the best player on the floor, particularly because when Will Richardson is penetrating and getting to the basket, it just opens up so many more things for Oregon's offense. It's a different team this time around as the Ducks will head to Corvallis. We're going to hear from Dana Altman in just a moment. Also look ahead to women's basketball as they look ahead to the NCAA tournament. Your Facebook comments and questions. Where are you going to be tuning in from on Sunday? Oh, man. I can't wait. What do you guys think? Keys to the game? What are your keys to the game? Greg says, fully loaded Ducks this time around. Going to be a whole different story this time. Plus, the Ducks are rolling. They'll get fueled. And that revenge, that shellacking. Yeah, exactly, that they took it home last time. Greg, I'm with you, buddy. Everybody else, let me know. Facebook comments, YouTube comments. What are your keys to the game? I'll catch up on them during the break, and then we're going to hear from Dana Altman, hear his keys to the game. Because at the end of the day, I know that none of you really care about what I think. You just want to know what Coach Altman thinks. And that's what this show is for. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to really volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see? Every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Oregon men's basketball coming up against Oregon State. 5 o'clock on Sunday. The Ducks will play their 8th game in 17 days, and they actually have some time to practice and prepare. Ducks took yesterday off. They will practice today, practice Saturday, and then play on Sunday. Dana Altman going through the schedule, going through some of the keys, and talking about just how darn good Chris Duarte has been lately. Dana Altman is always brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Every single head coach interview this year brought to you by our friends at WVCI. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Dana Altman meeting with the media just a couple hours ago.
Well, Dana, do you take anything at all from looking back at the first meeting with them?
Both teams are so different right now, James. Probably not. I'm not going to spent a little time. They beat us, and you play the games when you got to play them, and we got beat. So now it's a different game, and they're playing really good. They're a different team. They're playing with a lot more confidence and moving the ball really well. So, not only are we a different team, but so are they. And it's going to be a real tough ball game. They're playing really good, and over there we've struggled. So we know how tough it's going to be.
Dana, although he didn't give you a ton offensively against UCLA, I thought Chandler's play, especially on the full court press that you guys had, he was very disruptive and caused some turnovers there, especially down the stretch. How big is he going to be against Oregon State, especially considering they have some decent size over there?
Well, that was a big factor in the first game. They really out-rebounded us and beat us up inside. So, he and Frank, will be a big part of it, giving us some physicality and size and giving us some more size in there. So, we can't get beat on the boards like we did the first time. We're going to have to challenge them a little better than that.
Relatively speaking, it's an eternity between games now for you guys. How do you manage these few days to stay sharp, but also, I don't know if you want your guys to take a breath and also recover a little bit. How you manage this relatively big gap between games compared to the last couple of weeks?
Well, we took Thursday off, and we'll practice today and tomorrow, and hopefully be ready at 5:00. It's not a long road trip, so but we've got to be fresh, but we do need to work on some things. So I am anxious to practice. We haven't practiced for a couple of weeks, actually 3 weeks. We haven't had a real practice, so it'll be good to practice.
Dana, you've always liked the senior urgency late in the year. How much has that kind of helped carry you during all these games? And late against UCLA, you had a stretch where Figueroa and Amarui and Duarte in 3 straight possessions hit really big plays for you. Just the senior urgency kind of carrying you right now.
Well, you hope your vets, are in that position. And, I'd throw Will into that mix too. I thought, Will had a sense of urgency and gave us great leadership. But no, you want your seniors, it's their year and their sense of urgency. And, so you're right. Eugene made big plays. Chris made big plays. LJ had a big tip in. Will hit big shots. So, that experience definitely, came to light in the closing minutes there.
What are some of those things you're looking to work on here these next few days, Dana? Because I would think maybe defense, just because even though the turnovers were there and they were obviously huge in the second half, that was the highest Mick Cronin team has ever shot and lost in his 18 years. So I know their first half had a lot to do with it, but they still did shoot 50% even with the turnovers in the second. So is it mainly defense, but you guys have just played 7 games in 14 days? Or what are you looking to work on here these next couple of days?
Well, you usually don't win, when you do give up that high of an offensive percentage. And, fortunately we shot the ball well too, but defensively, we're going to have to be sharper than we were. I thought we made a lot of rotational mistakes. We were steps slow on a lot of their penetration. I don't know how much of that was fatigue. We were playing our 7th game, but it is what it is. Our guys seem to be pretty fresh. We didn't practice much, so I think we need to work on that. I mentioned rebounding, getting our rears kicked on the boards last time we played them. Is going to be a big factor. And we had some bad turnovers, some lazy turnovers against you at UCLA. And so we're going to have to handle the ball a little bit better.
It seems like this team has really turned the corner since Will came back weeks ago. Can you stress the importance of just having an experienced point guard like that during this time of the year?
Well, Will is our most experienced returner, and so not having him the first 9 weeks, I think slowed our process and our progress down for our team, just because we were going to lean on that experience trying to get through the early part of the year. And so, he's a good player and he's got experience, and that's usually a pretty good combination. And so I'm glad he's back. I thought he really took the game over, last few minutes against UCLA, did some awfully good things. So he is a big part of our team, and when he's aggressive offensively, he really gives our offense a different look.
Will didn't necessarily fill up the stat sheet, but you said he took that game over. Just as a coach, what did you appreciate? What did you like? What was he doing that was so effective and helpful for you guys?
Well, he got to the rim 2 or 3 times. Our points in the paint the second half were a big difference, and a lot of that was Will, penetrating and making plays and getting to the rim a couple times. I thought he looked for his opportunities from 3 a little bit more, which spreads the defense, which allows us to, to get 26 points in the paint. To get that kind of production in the paint, they got to be worried about you guys hitting threes. If your guys aren't hitting threes, they just pack the paint. It's hard to score in there. But he becomes, he's a very good shooter. We need him to be aggressive because his percentage, his stroke is really good.
And you've mentioned that Chris has really dedicated himself even more so this year to the game. And since last year, we would see it with Peyton, when we were at practice before we talked to you, and we'd see Peyton out there before everybody. We don't have that luxury this year. So take us in. What aren't we seeing in his dedication that he's raised this year?
Well, he's basically followed, the blueprint that Dylan Brooks established and that Peyton followed, and now he's following it. He's in the weight room every day with Evan, doing extra stuff. He's early, staying late. He's improved every aspect of his game, and physically he's in better shape. He's improved his body. He's cut his body fat. You can't get him to put his shirt on anymore, and last year he was like me. He wanted a shirt on all the time. He didn't want anybody to see him. So, that's changed, and he's just done a really good job of preparing, and his efficiency, James, I don't think he gets enough credit for that. A lot of people can score 17, 18 points. You give them enough shots, but not many can do it shooting 50-some% from the field and 40% from 3 and 80 from the line. The efficiency that he's shown, I think, is the thing that really separates him.
Do you think he's really aware of exactly how good he's playing in terms of, like I say, it's like his effective shooting percentage of over 66% for a guard he's 9th nationally, and I don't even know who the next closest guard is.
No, that's what I'm talking about, the efficiency, and we just tell him to keep trying to make the right basketball plays. He had a couple bad turnovers in the first half against UCLA where he left his feet or he predetermined what he wanted to do. But I just think he's making good decisions. And, I don't want to mess with that. I think he's creating opportunities for other guys. People are setting their defense to stop him, which opens up things for other guys. And you just got to take what the defense gives you. And, I think he's done a tremendous job of that. So, our offense is clicking along pretty good. Defensively, we got to get better. Again, we gave up way too many easy baskets against UCLA, but offensively, I just want him to keep making the right basketball play. And I just think that translates for us having a good offense team-wise. And great thing about Chris right now is he's really focused on the team, and he's doing a great job of moving the ball and making plays.
Defensively, how much has he changed, not just this season, but go back to what you saw in him bringing him in here, where he was a bit of a aggressive gambler defensively in junior college. Just the way that he's changed from that to opposing coaches saying that he may be the best defensive guard in the country.
Yeah, no, he still takes a lot of chances, but his risk reward percentage has been a lot better. There's a fine line there. You want guys to push the envelope, especially with someone he anticipates very well. So you want that guy to push the envelope, but, you sell out too many times and get burned. There's a fine line there. And he did a couple times at Stanford in the first half and cost us 5 points. And the good part about his game is that I can tell him that. And, then he looks a little bit more closely at it. I keep telling him it's like a defensive back that goes for an interception. You get one or two, that's great, but you keep going for them and they burn you a few times. You got to dial it back and make the right play. And so, the risk reward there, I don't want him to not take chances because he needs to, but he's got to really concentrate. And if he misses a few, then he's got to dial it back a little bit. And, it's kind of like assist to turnover ratio. I give a guy that's getting me 4 assists, a few more turnovers. Those numbers, risk reward on steals is kind of the same thing.
There's Coach Altman talking with the media just a few hours ago, getting ready for Sunday's tip-off against the Beavers, a 5 o'clock start on Fox Sports 1, all of a 4:30 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, this is going to be my first road game of the season. I'll be going up to Corvallis for the first time, doing a game not remotely. What's that going to be like? It's been almost a full year since I have done a broadcast not from an Oregon facility. That's weird. Boy, that actually just hit me like a ton of bricks. That is the wow. Let's hope it's a good one. Oregon and Oregon State, most contested rivalry in the history of college basketball. I saw a few of you mention Will Richardson. Yeah, getting him into the paint going to be a real key. I think that rebounding is always a key for this team, especially with a collection of guys that are 6'6". I'm glad that everybody's going to be tuning in. This is going to be a fun one. Meanwhile, we'll turn our attention to women's basketball as they will look ahead to the NCAA tournament after a rough one yesterday. We'll talk about that and get you ready for a huge weekend of Duck sports. Oregon Volleyball is in action right now for a top 20 matchup if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy. And you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Back on Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack here with you. Calling all cookie lovers, Crumble Cookies has a rotating menu of over 120 flavors. Come see Crumble Cookies in Eugene off Coburg Road. Maybe you need a little pick-me-up. Sometimes you do. You just do. Women's basketball. Yesterday, I did not have a Duck Insider because Terry Johns and Bev Smith were in here with me calling the game, actually. Didn't go well. A great comeback, though, for Oregon women's basketball. So a couple big takeaways as the Ducks, I get it. They've lost 5 of their last 6. They're not going to make any excuses. Everybody's gone through it, all right? Now, let me give you some perspective. It was a really rough third quarter for the Ducks, but they gave up just 5 points to the Beavers in the first quarter. They had that defensive intensity. I asked Bev Smith yesterday, I said, so Bev, midway through the second quarter, are we seeing a defensive showcase or an offensive struggle? And she kind of looked at me and laughed and went, both. Yeah, but Oregon was able to weather that storm early. And then both teams were shooting lights out to start the third quarter, but then the Beavers really picked it up. The Ducks got within 1, and then Oregon State just kind of pulled away. But, man, what a comeback. They could have just folded, and they didn't. Taylor Mikesell was outstanding for the Ducks. Going to hear from her in a moment. She was really, really good. Really, really good, Mikesell was. 24 points on 10 of 19 shooting, and only 2 of 7 from 3. I think you'd hear me say 24 points, and you think, well, Taylor Mikesell probably hit like 4 or 5 threes. Well, she was 10 of 19 overall and 2 of 7 from 3. Ducks kind of rode her for a bit. And I think Taylor Mikesell, if that's the coming out party for Taylor Mikesell, then if they can practice this next couple weeks, rest up, maybe Tahina Paopao is able to come back. More on that in just a second. I just think that Taylor Mikesell can really bring something to this Oregon team. And I also think that Tahina Paopao is probably worth at least 8 points, and that would have been enough to win this game. I think that there's a couple takeaways here. One, Coach Graves did say post-game, and you'll hear his words in just a moment. He said on Tip-Off Tuesday that he didn't expect to have Tahina Paopao the rest of the way. Pac-12 Network then said, well, Oregon said maybe she'd be back for the tournament, and Coach Graves clarified and said, well, we're going to have her in Vegas, not going to have her probably in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and if Tahina Paopao is able to come back, the Ducks would have to make a deep run into the NCAA tournament. And Coach Graves said, well, we need to be playing a lot better for us to even have an opportunity to do that. So, a couple things here. One, Ducks need to regroup, no doubt. Yeah, they've lost 5 of their last 6. Those losses are, though, to really, really good teams. And honestly, let's be frank, the Ducks had games that got canceled against teams that they probably would have beaten. They probably would have gone at worst 3-2 in those games. I saw Mose mention that on Twitter, and I was thinking the same thing. Terry and Bev were talking about it during the broadcast. Now, very similar argument for USC and UCLA against Oregon men's basketball. This is what we all signed up for. This is kind of the way that it is. So the Ducks aren't going to make any excuses about that. But now that they do have some time to practice, with the week off before NCAA tournament begins, you got to think that Oregon's going to be able to build a little bit of confidence. And the Ducks are going to be able to figure out what the rotation's going to look like without Tahina Paopao. I thought Maddie Shear did some good things. I think the Ducks are going to need her to step up. And the NCAA look, I think, is still very positive. The Ducks are number 10 in the net. Charlie Cream has updated bracketology today with them as a number 5 seed. And the other conference tournament results could definitely change that. Stanford's in there as a number 1 seed. Arizona and UCLA are 3 seeds. Oregon State at number 9 and Washington State at number 10. And I think Colorado losing in the opening round of the Pac-12 tournament, I think that probably knocks Colorado out of the NCAA tournament, which is too bad for the Pac-12. But look, I think that Oregon is probably right around a 5. Based on what has happened, I think Oregon is right around a 5 seed. Kelly Graves talked to the media post-game. Quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to hear from Kelly Graves. I rambled. Sorry, Scott. Scott's like, I'm ready to – what are you doing, Joey? Like, what's going on? And no, I rambled. My bad. Duck Insider today brought to you by our friends at North Fork Public House. Open for dine-in, outside, and takeout. NorthForkEugene.com. All right, we're going to hear from Kelly Graves when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, you've reached Toyota. This is Jan.
Can I save on a new Toyota?
Yes, with great deals through March 31st at participating dealers.
I'm really into mystery podcasts lately for those long drives.
Well, imagine yourself in a Camry when a celebrity sleuth solves the perfect crime. Or camping in a RAV4 when a shocking theft turns a city on its head. Or off-roading in a Tacoma when trouble follows a big city cop to the country. Spoiler alert, it was the butler.
Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, Fish Dad!
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joy Mack here inside the Country Financial Studio. Steven would like a pair of these shoes. Yeah, I understand. So would I. These are for, what's the word, like these are the window model. It's like for display only. I guess so. I mean, that's what I'm assuming, you know. They are nice. No doubt. So is that softball and that baseball. And also, did anybody notice the addition of the baseball helmet? Yeah. Baseball on the road for the first time. The Ducks will be hitting the road a couple more times over the next couple weeks, I should say. But yeah, Oregon facing UCSB coming up. 2:45 pregame show if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Our buddy Nick Cope's going to help us out. He's a colleague of mine down in the Southern California area, and with the climate we're in, myself, Alex Simpson, not traveling, so we've called in a few favors. Nick's going to have the call for you across the Oregon Sports Network for the 4-game series down at UCSB. Meanwhile, Kelly Graves talking with the media postgame. And look, Coach Graves, he's going to be disappointed, but I think proud of the way that his team performed in the fourth quarter. A couple of his thoughts on that matchup with Oregon State, and now the bigger picture question as the Ducks will look ahead to the NCAA tournament. They got a few extra days to practice, which is not what the Ducks are used to after the success they've had in Vegas the last few years. Here's Coach Graves talking postgame.
Well, I'm proud of our team and the fight that we showed, certainly in that last quarter. It was just like the game last week. It was that third quarter. They had a stretch where they, we took a couple bad shots, had a couple of decent shots, some good opportunities, and didn't convert. But unfortunately, our defense just in that third quarter let us down. I mean, we did such a great job in the first half against them, and it just kind of fell apart there for a little stretch in that third, and that was the game. We tried like crazy to come back, had some opportunities, and that's it.
Down by 15, no quit. You got within 4 with less than a minute to go. You gave yourself a chance.
Yeah, we did. So, that was a good thing, something to build upon. But unfortunately, we just, you can't spot a team like that, 15 points in that quarter, and expect to have a chance at the end. So I was pretty disappointed in that. It's not fun losing any time. It's certainly not much fun losing to the Beavers for the first time we've ever played in the tournament. But hats off to them. They earned it. They played well, and down the stretch, they know who they are and they execute.
How about the play of Taylor Mikesell? 24 points, 10 of 19 shooting, and good to see her getting some rhythm, and she looked good.
Yeah, she played a good game. I thought early on she was pressing a little bit, but then once she came back in and really settled down, she was she played well, and hopefully that is something we can continue. through the NCAA tournament. We'll be playing here in a couple of weeks, but we've got to figure out a way to play better, or that tournament's going to be short as well. I believe in our team. I believe that we can do it and somehow right this ship a little bit, but boy, we're sure on the struggle bus down the stretch.
I thought in the beginning of the game that you came out, looked like ready to play. You defended them really well early, but the offense couldn't get going because it looked like there you had a chance to have a sizable lead, and you just didn't.
Yeah. And I thought we had some pretty good looks. I mean, there were a couple of possessions where we shot it a little quick. But for the most part, if you look at some of our shots and put it against our shot profile, I thought they were decent. And, just unfortunately not enough went in. And, we could have, I thought, really put them on their heels early in the game, and we didn't. But defensively in the first half, I thought we were as good as we've been all year. Something to build on, but now we got to put 4 quarters together.
What is the offensive role of your various guards right now? I know obviously you turned to Maddie to run the point a little bit today, but whether it's Chavez, Maddie, Jazz, what are their offensive roles right now as you have to shuffle the deck a bit?
Well, first of all, we got to make baskets. What we struggle with sometimes, James, is we don't have a ton of playmakers. Now, we inserted Maddie tonight mainly for defense on Aaliyah, and I thought she did a really good job, certainly in that first half on Aaliyah. She's such a great player, and, we made her work for a lot tonight. I thought Maddie did a great job. That was why we inserted her there. She is our best perimeter defender. Taylor Chavez, I thought, had some moments tonight. Jazz is still she's got to get it going. I hope she does. I'm confident that she will. But Taylor Chavez is one of the few players that we have that can actually make plays for other people. And, so we need that from her going down the stretch here. We are in the stretch. We are guaranteed probably one more game. And now we've got to earn more. We're good enough to. We just gotta get it done.
Kelly, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, this time last year you were headed to Arkansas and leaving the park, and all of a sudden everything gets canceled and all of this COVID stuff begins. Being back down here 1 year later, I mean, was there a weird feeling to it? And can you put into words what the last year has been, given that this is really the starting point of it all?
There's been some good points, but this has really been a tough season. It's been a tough season for these kids to get up 7:30 every morning and go get tested, and to have to walk a half a mile to pick up. And I'm not complaining because every team had to do it. I'm just saying this is what it's just different. They walk a half a mile to get served food in a to-go container, and they have to walk back and eat it in their hotel room. And it's just been like that. It's hard to just be happy-go-lucky, for these young people. And I give them all a lot of credit, not just my team, but all the teams. It's been difficult. But no, 1 year ago, we weren't, I wasn't traveling. I was preparing now for the second game. It was kind of a coronation last year, the way we were playing, and we were so good. We still had 2 games to win here. And then I stayed and watched my son win a conference championship with Gonzaga. I'm not allowed to go to that either. So this is really surreal. We haven't not played in the championship game in a while. So we've played multiple games in this tournament for a lot of years. So this is a new experience, actually, to be able to have to go home after the one day.
Kelly, you did not have Pow Pow today, but you did play your other freshmen down the stretch during the comeback. Can you just explain kind of the impact of not having Pow Pow and how that experience might help your other freshmen in the NCAA tournament?
Well, Pow Pow was first team all conference this year, and she runs your point. And on a team that doesn't have a lot of playmakers, she is one. She's one of the players that just makes everybody else better. It hurts. It hurts. But guess what? Nobody's crying for us. And we're going to have to find a way to figure it out, because I don't think we're going to have her for the rest of the year. So we're going to have to figure out, how to proceed going forward. But no, anytime you take a player like of that magnitude, it's the same as Oregon State losing Aaliyah Goodman. How good would they be without Aaliyah Goodman running the show? That it's a huge hit. But again, nobody's crying for us. We've won three conference championships in a row. This was people's chances to kind of beat up on Oregon a little bit. Now our backs are against the wall. We have a chance to redeem ourselves in an NCAA tournament. And hopefully that we will. Ultimately, that's what you're judged on. And so we want to make it a positive going forward. And somebody else is going to have to step up and take those reins. I liked what I saw from Maddie tonight. I thought that was great. That was something to build on.
Coach, I wanted to follow up on your comments a second ago about Tahina. The Pac-12 networks reported that you might have her for the NCAA. Are you suggesting that's not the case? And I guess, how do you proceed if that is?
Eric, I'm one of those. I hope for the best and plan for the worst. This time of year, you don't know. We've had players in that, with that same kind of injury, and it was season ending. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but we've got to prepare without, knowing that, just figuring she won't play. If she does play it would be later in the tournament, and we better play a lot better, or we're not going to be playing later in the next tournament.
Just for some specificity there, Kelly, since it's right foot, is this like Liz Frank if we're talking about that kind of timetable?
You know what? I leave that to the doctor. So one of the things I learned a long time ago, I do not force kids, pressure kids, passive aggressively try to talk to kids about coming back. I stay away from that. I have no idea. I was told it was going to be weeks. Weeks to me could mean 2, or it could mean 4 to 6. It could mean 8 to 10. I don't know. So I hate to, give you a non-answer there. I just don't know. And I'm not going to really press our doctors, because when you start pressing your trainers and doctors, they sometimes feel pressure. Coaches putting pressure on me to try to get this kid back. If she's back, we're a lot better and we'll love it. And if she's not, hey, toughen up. We gotta do with what we got.
Yeah, Coach. You look at it, you miss a couple wide open lay-ins, you only get, a quarter of your threes. So how do you approach it in the future? Do you look at the whole film with the team, or do you just say, hey, we didn't shoot well, a couple things? What do you do?
Well, the shooting didn't lose the game. Our defensive focus, lack of in that latter third quarter, is what did us in. Sure, we could have shot better. Sure, we had some shots at the rim that we left on the floor tonight. And you can't do that this time of year, But again, how many of our players have a ton of experience to really kind of fall back on and know that? We weren't at our best. But again, I want to credit Oregon State. They earned it. They're playing well right now. That's a team that could do some damage in an NCAA tournament as well. I don't know how far they can go here, but I certainly know when they match up in the NCAA, they're going to be a tough out for people.
You have kind of an extended break here, Coach. What's the plan, and kind of how do you want to use that? Is this a soul searching time, or do you have? I don't know. What are you going to do for the next couple of weeks before you play again?
Well, I'm going to probably spend some time in Black Butte a few days and get away from everything. I'm certainly not going to go to Costco or Trader Joe's or anywhere else in town, because we have a lot of fans that follow the team. So I'll stay away from them. But I don't know with the team, we have to start getting tested on Wednesday. So we'll have 7 consecutive days of testing before the NCAA tournament. Normally speaking, you guys, we give them the week off after the tournament. Let them just, no practice, no nothing. A lot of them go home. They can't do that this year. So I'm not sure if we're going to have quite the same schedule this week, but there will be significant time off. I think finals are coming up for our players, so they got to remember that they're students first. And, so I'll talk it over with my staff. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting going home today, so I hadn't thought about it.
Kelly Graves, I think, pretty honest, and now the Ducks will wait for their NCAA fate and get back to work next Wednesday. We'll hear from Coach Graves on Tip-Off Tuesday coming up for our final Tip-Off Tuesday basketball coaches show, as Terry Johns will sit down with the women's basketball head coach. I do want to listen in a little bit on what Taylor Mikesell had to say postgame, because if this is the coming out party for Taylor Mikesell, a little later maybe than we all would have liked, than she would have liked, but man, if she scores like that, that's a tough addition to the Ducks lineup. Taylor Mikesell talking postgame after the tough loss yesterday.
I'm proud of how we fought tonight. I think we showed a lot of character and a lot of fight at the end, but we dug ourselves a hole in the third quarter that we couldn't get out of. That's about it. At the end of the day, they scored more points than we did. So credit to them. They had a great game. They're on a great run right now. But we're not done yet. So keep on fighting.
Taylor, you were certainly pretty dialed in there, particularly in the second half. I think that may have been a career high from 2-point range for you. When did you know you were kind of feeling it there in the second half, and especially from inside the arc?
I mean, at that point in time, we had to get stops and scores. And just particular way they were guarding our pick and rolls. We got a lot of looks of our guards coming off pick and rolls. I had Niara rolling a lot of times. So we just try to play a 2-man game between me and her, whoever was guarding the pick and roll.
You mentioned the defense in the third quarter there. I think they had like a 15-0 run. What happened during that run, and why was it so difficult to stop it?
I think we took our foot off the gas. We were down 5, I think, going into halftime. We held them to 24 in the first half, which is great compared to what they've been doing. And then we let up. I think we gave up a couple really easy shots, some putbacks, a couple threes, and it snowballed.
Taylor, how has Von Oelhoffen changed their team, Oregon State's team, since December when you guys handled them?
She changes it a lot for them. She gives Goodman a lot of chances to go off the ball and gives her a little bit of a break at the one. And then her scoring ability, you got to guard her as a true shooter, but she's a scorer coming off the dribble, and she makes the right play coming out of high school. That's pretty big time, but we just didn't have an answer inside.
Taylor, besides your role, which has been pretty defined all season, how much just in this past week has the role in the backcourt for everybody changed without Tahina there, that everybody's playing in a little bit of a different capacity? Just how challenging is it as a whole, but even for you to play with, because the rotations are different, the times are different, everybody's individual roles are different. Just how much of a challenge is this the last week?
I mean, I think it's definitely challenging because T's been the head of our team for this whole entire season, but KG was big on it, and I think we've been talking about it all year, just next person up and be ready when your number's called. So, I mean, whatever role that is needed of me or of my teammates, we're trying to step into it, and we put ourselves in a position to win that game. We got to do it for T. We got to do it for our seniors. And
Taylor,
I love that answer. I mean, it's kind of what you'd expect and what you want somebody like Taylor Mikesell to say in that situation, but you got to love that answer too. Hey, we got to step up. And that's what the Ducks are trying to do. We'll switch gears next, talk a little Diamond Sports, go through the weekend schedule for you on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Today's show brought to you by Shadow Hills Country Club, your family resort just minutes from home. Call for a tour today. And by Hoodoo. Check out hoodoo.com for webcams, road cams, the latest snow conditions. We'll see you really any day of the week at Hoodoo. But every Thursday, they're doing just a great deal. You can ride and ski from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for only $25. It's a good deal, man. That's a really good deal. Our Toyota Women's Sports Schedule Spotlight shines on Oregon Volleyball. The Ducks dropping their first set, if you're live with us at the 1 o'clock hour, in a top 20 matchup to Washington. Ducks got to get these. Got to get these if they want a chance for a Pac-12 title, so good luck to Matt Ulmer and his squad. They will also continue the matchup with Washington on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Elsewhere, the Ducks will also face UCLA in women's soccer tonight at 5:30, and then they will finish up their trip down in Los Angeles with a 1 o'clock start against USC on Sunday. Men's and women's tennis both in action at various times over the course of the weekend, and I am really looking forward to Oregon baseball against UC Santa Barbara. They're on the road, and if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour again, the Ducks have a 2:45 pregame show right here on the Oregon Sports Network. I talked with Mark Wasikowski actually earlier today. Kenyon Yovan is in the lineup. Yeah, the only Duck to ever be an All-American as both a pitcher and a hitter. There's not a lot of guys that have done that really ever. Kenyon Yovan's back in the lineup. Looks like he's going to hit in the 2-hole today, followed by Matthews and Zavala. That's a tell you what, that's a great section of the lineup. It's cool they're all Oregonians. I think that's a cool piece to it, too. Our buddy Nick Cope's going to have the call. He is filling in for me and Alex as we are not traveling with the current climate that we are in. But, man, I hope that can resume soon. So the Ducks will play this afternoon for baseball, and then 2 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday. Both start times at noon on Saturday and Sunday. Cross-country championship still in action if you're live with us. So we'll save updates for you for Monday's edition of Duck Insider. And, man, this is a big one for Oregon Acrobatics and Tumbling. Saturday, 3 o'clock, they're hosting Baylor. Let's get it done, Ducks. Take down Baylor in Acro. Looking forward to it for Keena Wan and her squad. And lastly, softball. Yeah, that's right. The Ducks have their home opener at Jane Sanders Stadium tomorrow. The Ducks will be taking on the likes of Portland State and Boise State. A couple of games on Saturday, and then they'll also play 2 games on Sunday. We're supposed to start today. Things got moved around because of weather. You can always tune in via the various Oregon live streams for all these home matches that are going on. And we finish up, though, your weekend schedule. The last one on the docket might be a Pac-12 title. Ducks and Beavers, 5 o'clock on Sunday. I'm Joey Mack. I'll have a 4:30 pregame show from Corvallis. Ducks hunting for a title.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared